bring me into the realities of what it looked like to start to get into the fitness world and how starting to get some discipline, structure, and self-confidence and self-belief in your life through fitness, what that did for you.
So this is where that community piece comes in for me in a really big way. So talking about your environment being stronger than your willpower, I'd put that together at that point in my life that I'm going to need to be in an environment where other people are doing what I'm doing. And so because at the time I lived in the Midwest, I was in Wisconsin, and there wasn't a lot of people. Look, fitness was like a newer conversation back then, and nutrition and all the things. It was, especially in the Midwest, it was kind of like oh, you can't eat that. Oh, you're not going to do that. Oh, you're no fun anymore. Like, come drinking with us. That was the conversation. It's literally what you do there. And so, I knew that I had to go find an environment of people who were doing it. And so I would read fitness magazines. And in one of the articles one day, there was a woman named Kathy Savage, and she put on fitness camps, but also helped people if they wanted to do fitness competitions. I didn't know where these competitions were. I only saw them on TV once in a while. It was like, I don't even know how this starts. So I had never really traveled anywhere in my life. I'd been on a plane, I think once or twice at this point. And I jumped off the stair mill reading that, and I ran over to Chris and I was like, I need to go to this camp. I was like, I know nothing about it, but I just know I'm supposed to be there. And so that night we booked the tickets and I went to this fitness camp in Boston. So this little Midwest girl goes out with all these Bostonians, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this, because even though I was that extroverted little girl, my personality got so buried through the years, and my self-belief in myself had gone so downhill that I don't think people, if they knew me now, well, you would never even recognize me back then. There was a point where even when we were first married, when we would go out with friends, I would drink, are you ready for this? A 6-pack of beer just to feel not anxious about being in front of people.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So you're at this camp in Boston. I want to hear about it. I want to hear what you learned, and I want to hear about your first competition.
Okay.
Like, walk me through, like, I want to know what you wore. I want to know what it felt like to walk out on that stage. Like, what did it feel like?
So at the camp, I felt like a fish out of water. I was questioning myself. I was like, what am I doing here? Thankfully, I met someone right away at the camp who was also from the Midwest. So we kind of bonded over like, oh my God, what are we doing here? These girls are so outgoing and outspoken, and they're so good at this. Like, the camp was there, so they were in it. They were like, already knew what they were doing. And so we're like, that's fine. We're just going to do our version of it and see how we do. And I will never forget, I have never had somebody, I hadn't realized it, but at this point, I had never had somebody call me out for like something that I was able to do. I'd never had somebody recognize like a talent in me. Like, it was ever. Because I wasn't smart. Remember, I didn't go to school, so I wasn't getting credit for good grades. My parents were always amazing with like, hey, you're so good at this, or you're good with, I was the best cleaner there was. I was really good at helping my dad. So those things, but I'd never gotten anything outside of that. So I did, she was doing this thing where you go and you do like a pageant walk. And so I was so nervous, but I went and I was like, just throw it all out there. I did my best pageant walk in front of all of these girls, never done it before. And she said, you're made for this. Those few words changed my entire life.